How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about the weirdest things ever stolen. From $160,000 worth of Jamaican cheese to Albert Einstein's brain. Join us as we take a look at the strangest things ever stolen.
In July 2008, an entire beach was stolen in Coral Springs, Jamaica. 500 truckloads of powdery white sand went missing in the resort-heavy region of Trelawney. The 400-metre-long coastal stretch was set to be the centrepiece of a newly developed resort. The beach theft put development plans on hold and even caught the eye of Jamaica's Prime Minister at the time, Bruce Golding. Questions were raised as to how 500 truckloads of sand could be transported out of the area. Police conducted forensic tests on beaches along the coast to see if any of the missing sand could be identified. However, after an exhaustive inquiry, no arrests were made. Some locals suspect foul play, alleging that local police played a role in the Great Sandy Heist. Sand is an integral part of modern economies as it has become the most consumed natural resource on the planet, second only to water. Another notable beach theft occurred in Hungary in 2007 when multiple tons of sand were stolen from an artificial beach along the Tidesa River. Beach theft in South India is so common that they even have a term for it, manakoli. In the days leading up to Halloween 2016, 4 thieves stole close to 200 pumpkins from a roadside stand in New Jersey. In the footage we see 4 hooded and masked men load the pumpkins into a car parked on the side of the road. The pumpkin pilferers raided the family-run farm 3 separate times in the one night. Owner Todd Kume estimated the missing pumpkins to be worth more than $2,000 and at the time was offering a $1,000 reward for their return. He said the roadside vegetable patch had been operating in that same spot for more than 120 years. It's not known if the pumpkin thieves were ever caught. Staying in New Jersey, a man was arrested in late 2016 for stealing $160,000 worth of Jamaican cheese. 18-year-old Darluis Ortiz broke into a Monachi food manufacturing warehouse and stole several pallets of specialty Jamaican cheese spread called Tasty Cheese. While cheese in a can might seem odd, the spread is highly sought after in Jamaica and is often eaten with sweet or spiced buns, particularly around Easter time. Ortiz was arrested and charged with theft, burglary, conspiracy and possessing burglary tools. His bail was $150,000, just $10,000 less than the pallets of stolen cheese. On a side note, according to a 2011 study conducted by the UK's Centre for Retail Research, cheese is the most stolen food item in the world. The study found that the theft of cheese isn't necessarily for personal consumption, instead they're seeing a lot of stolen cheese being resold in a sort of cheesy black market, finding its way into restaurants and markets. Looking at it now, maybe cheese isn't one of the weirdest things ever stolen. In May 2012, 3 British tourists woke up in their Australian Gold Coast apartment to find a penguin walking around their living room. The 3 men, who were in Australia on working visas, broke into a local amusement park, SeaWorld, and stole a tiny penguin named Dirk. During their court hearing, they told Magistrate Brian Cucks that they had drank 1.5 litres of vodka the night before and couldn't remember what they had done. It was revealed that the men, after breaking into the amusement park, let off a fire extinguisher in the shark tank, swam with dolphins and finally abducted little Dirk before taking him back to their apartment. The drunken escapades were documented on Facebook by the men, taking pictures with Dirk before passing out. The following morning, when they realised what they had done, they tried releasing the penguin in a nearby waterway. Luckily, the bird was spotted by a passing couple who alerted authorities. Each of the men were fined $1,000 for their crimes. Dirk was returned to SeaWorld unharmed by his misadventure. In January 2016 in Turlock, California, thieves made away with nearly $50,000 worth of prized bull semen. The thieves raided a truck late Sunday night, stealing nearly 3,500 units of bull sperm, enough to impregnate almost 1,000 cows. Cattle farmer Anthony Reese reportedly spent months collecting the huge amount of bull semen from his award-winning animals, one of which is considered the 5th most prized bull in the entire world. Reese believes the opportunistic robbers may not know what they stole. The semen is stored in special containers filled with liquid nitrogen and must be kept at -320 degrees Fahrenheit or the valuable genetic loads could go bad. The outcome of the police investigation is not known. In the lead up to the 2000 Academy Awards, 55 Oscar statues were stolen from a Roadway Express docking bay a few miles southeast of downtown LA. In the week after the statuettes went missing, 61-year-old Willie Fulgear discovered several boxes in an alleyway that contained 52 of the 55 missing Oscars. He claims he was rummaging through a rubbish bin in Koreatown looking for cardboard boxes he could use to pack up some of his belongings. Fulgear was rewarded with $50,000 and 2 tickets to the Academy Awards. In a bizarre twist, Fulgear's brother, John Willie Harris, was charged on accessory to grand theft and receiving stolen goods. 2 Roadway Express employees were also arrested for the theft of the 55 Oscars. Fulgear allegedly passed a lie detector test before receiving his reward. In January 2008, thieves managed to dismantle a 200-ton bridge in rural Khabarovsk in eastern Russia. The missing bridge was discovered when workers of a local heating plant found their only route to work had completely vanished. Police investigators said that the robbers struck in the night, taking apart the enormous bridge in a matter of hours. They said the thieves were most likely taking the steel and other raw materials to sell as scrap metal. A spokesperson said the cost of replacing the bridge would most likely be 10 times the value of the stolen materials. As it turns out, stolen bridges aren't all that uncommon. Other notable bridge thefts have occurred in Pennsylvania when a 50-foot steel bridge was stolen by scrap metal thieves, and another in Turkey when robbers dismantled an 82-foot long bridge worth around $12,000 in raw materials. On a scale of weirdest things ever stolen, this is right up there. From 2011 to 2012, 3 men managed to steal 2,700 tons of maple syrup, worth more than $18 million from a warehouse in Quebec, Canada. Over the course of a year, the men inconspicuously drained hundreds of barrels of syrup, replacing their contents with water. The theft wasn't known until a routine stocktake revealed the sweet stuff was missing. One of the men, Richard Vallières, was sentenced to 8 years in prison, had $606,500 confiscated, and was fined $9.4 million. He was ordered to pay back the money in 10 years or risk having his sentence increased by 6 years. The 2 other men involved in the heist, Raymond Vallières and Etienne Saint-Pierre, both received 2 years jail time along with community service and 3 years probation. In August 2011, a farmer in Minnesota woke up to find 594 pigs had been stolen from his family farm. The thieves operated under the cover of darkness, taking numerous trips down a long dirt road past gated security to load hundreds of pigs onto a truck. Police attributed the spate of statewide pig thefts to a rise in pork prices. At the time, farmers were making close to $200 per pig, and it's thought that the pork pilferers would have sold their haul to a slaughterhouse almost immediately. A spokesperson said that the problem with pig theft is that they all look so similar, so thieves can just blend them into an existing group of pigs and easily get away with the crime. On April 18, 1955, one of the greatest scientific thinkers of the 20th century, Albert Einstein, had his brain stolen after being pronounced dead from an abdominal aortic aneurysm. At around 1 a.m, approximately 7 hours after Einstein's death, the pathologist on call, Dr. Thomas Stolz Harvey, began conducting an autopsy. During the post-mortem investigation, Harvey began removing and measuring Einstein's brain, a procedure that he had no legal right to perform and went specifically against Einstein's wishes. According to Brian Burrell's book Postcards from the Brain Museum, Einstein explicitly stated he wanted to be cremated with his brain still inside his skull, and that he wanted his ashes spread in an unknown location to avoid fanfare. Harvey had no legal or medical right to remove the brain and in effect stole the vessel of one of the greatest minds of all time. He kept Einstein's brain for several decades, releasing speculative medical papers on the brain, suggesting that Einstein had abnormal proportions of 2 types of cells, neurons and glia. The studies divided the medical community, with the general consensus being that the results were biased. After Harvey controversially took the brain, his professional and personal life fell into turmoil. He lost his job at the Princeton Hospital, his wife left him, he even lost his medical license in 1988 after failing a 3-day competency exam. Einstein was intelligent enough to know the media and medical community would obsess over his remains after passing. That's the reason why he wanted to be cremated in secret.
Well, there's another one down. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying our content, smash that upward facing thumb. Really give it a good clicking. Leave us a comment down below as well. We love reading them. If you're new, why not subscribe? And that's it from me. I'll see you all next time.